CBS presents this program in color.
Come ride the little train that is rolling down the tracks to the junction. Forget about your cares, it is time to relax at the junction. Lots of curves, you bet, and even more when you get to the junction.
Petticoat Junction.
There's a little hotel called the Shady Rest at the junction.
Petticoat Junction.
It is run by Kate. Come and be her guest at the junction.
Petticoat Junction.
And that's Uncle Joe. He's a moving kind of slow at the junction. Petticoat Junction.
Colors.
Oh, now look, Miss Fussy. Sam Joker painted us a sample of every kind of paint he's got in stock. Now, one of them's got to do.
Well, maybe the green would be all right.
Oh, yeah, the green would be dandy if we're going to paint a pool table. But this is for the outside of the hotel.
Well, you asked me.
Well, you got your vote in. Let's see what the rest of the occupants prefer.
You've got the samples.
Mm-hmm. Pick one.
Well, obviously there's only one possible color for the hotel. Obviously, pink.
We have pink, blue, and green. That's a little too gaudy for the hotel and a little too drab for an Easter egg.
Caught him in the act this time, Kate. He was bearing a bow in your gladiolas.
Uncle Joe, long as you're going to do the work, what color would you like?
Work? What work?
The work you've been dodging for a year and a half. What kind of paint would you like?
Paint that's on it now.
It's old and faded, and it's full of cracks.
So's the Mona Lisa. They ain't repainting her.
Uncle Joe, you're not going to talk yourself out of the job this time.
I ain't trying to get out of the job. I just don't like to be rushed.
Rushed?
After all, nobody bugged Rembrandt when he was painting them ceilings in Rome. Well, did they?
You're right, Uncle Joe.
You see?
It was Michelangelo they bugged.
Well, you know, it ain't generally known. That's the name Rembrandt painted under when he was on the road.
Look, the dog has a lot better color sense than all of us.
You picked out the most beautiful shade of canary yellow. Wasn't that smart of him, Uncle Joe?
You can't tell nothing from that little spot on his nose. You get a better idea if you paint the rest of it.
Well, now it's all settled. We paint the hotel canary yellow, and Uncle Joe, you take it from here.
Uh-huh. Well, I'll breeze into Sam's tomorrow and get an estimate.
No, here is $10. Don't get the estimate, get the paint. Let's go.
They sure are. Yeah, the old Haney place is still a mess.
Sam, I want 5 cents.
Trouble is, Mrs. Gilbert, they're having an awful time trying to find somebody to do the job. Oh, the Douglases are willing to pay for the job. They just can't find a contractor. Well, I hope so, too. Bye.
Sam, do you still print business cards?
I sure do for folks that have a business.
How much are they?
Ask me when you got a business.
I got a business.
What kind?
Look, my business ain't no business of yours.
I'm going to find out anyway when you give me the order for the cards.
If I give you the order. How much are they?
$2 a thousand.
Okay, I'll take 2.
That'll be $4.
Not 2,000, just 2 cards. That's all I'll need. Here's what I want printed on it.
Joe Carson, general contractor. I didn't know you were in the contracting business.
You name it, I do it. Let's see, there's carpentry, plumbing, heating, cabinets, parquet, flooring, remodeling, room additions, roofs, stucco.
That's a very impressive card.
They ought to be. They cost $2 a thousand. There's more on the back side. Electrical wiring, cellars, louvery windows, sliding glass doors, concrete, cement, including sidewalks and tennis courts.
I think you need a little of each.
I think you need a lot of each. I've seen places that looked in better shape after they was torn down.
I think you better talk to my husband.
Well, I might not be available, and there's a big demand for high-class contractors.
Oh, dear.
We'd better do something fast. I'd never forgive myself if your husband came home and found his sweet little wife buried under a ton of derbis.
Nervous.
Yeah, that's French for a heap of junk. Well, maybe we'd better go inside and see what needs to be done. Well. Yes, sir.
You think you could do something with it?
Well, it ain't near as bad as I thought. I expected a complete fiasco. What you got here is a mere shambles.
What does that mean?
It means the average contractor would turn and run. But first-class havoc is a challenge to me. Now, to you, your home is just another eyesore. But to me, it's a potential Shangri-La.
What would you do with it?
Well, what you have in mind?
Well, first of all, I would like
Just a second. Proceed.
I would like, don't you think we should have this room modernized?
Definitely. Modernized living room.
Now then, over here, I would like to have this window made much larger.
Let out window.
And here we have a loose molding.
Put tuck in molding.
On the floor, it isn't level.
Baggy floor.
Well, I think of it. Won't you come along, please?
Oh, just a minute. Excuse me. That's going to have to be fixed.
Oh, would you come this way, please? This way, please. Well, I wouldn't know how to begin with this room.
What about a sunken bathtub?
That would be fine, but isn't it a big job?
Simplest thing in the world to put in a sunken bathtub. All you got to do is either raise the floor or shorten the pipes.
Well, I leave that to you. How soon could you start? Oh, I beg your pardon. I didn't ask you the price. How much will it cost?
Well, you got to remember this is an old place and there's lots of work to be done. Now, let's see. My rock bottom price would be $400.
For the whole house?
Oh, I forgot. You don't understand contractor's lingo. The $400 is merely my basic cost plus differential. You don't include the labor or the subcontractor.
Subcontractors?
These subcontractors ain't the ordinary kind that shrink submarines. This is the building kind. Now, I'm going to cut the cost down to the bone for you and your husband. I can expedite the whole job for $1,500.
Well, that sounds reasonable.
Well, no use wasting time. You just put your John Hancock on this standard contractor's agreement, and I'll get to work. The sooner your name's on the dotted line, the sooner I can make this a proper setting for the jewel that's stuck in it. Make that 2 kegs of roofing nails, 3 rolls of tar paper, 1 medium-sized wheelbarrow, 5 sacks of sand, and 300 red fireplace bricks. Are you going to remember all this?
I'm forgetting it as fast as you can say it.
Look, I'm giving you the biggest order you ever had. Now write it down.
I ain't writing down what I ain't getting paid for.
You'll get paid for it as soon as the Douglas pay me for the job.
What job?
This. I'm remodeling the Douglas place.
You're going to be remodeling the county jail, because that's where you're going.
Yeah? What for?
For contracting without a license.
Oh, so now it comes out. You're pulling your Justice of the Peace Act to gouge me for a license fee.
Joe, I only handle marriage, dog, and hunting license. Anything $10 or more has got to be mailed to the county clerk. So it's going to cost you $10, which you ain't got. Where'd you get $10?
Never mind. Just mail it.
Joe, even if you get a license, it ain't going to do you any good. What do you know about contracting? You could hide under a gnat's armpit.
I don't have to know nothing about contracting so long as I got smart subcontractors.
If they'd worked for you, they wouldn't be subcontractors, they'd be subnormal.
That does it. I'm canceling my order. You just send for that license.
Well, Uncle Joe, we're all ready for you.
Kate, you'll never guess who I seen on the train today. Amos Short. He's having the toughest time keeping the weeds out of his garden.
Where's the paint?
They're choking his artichokes and uprooting his rutabaga.
Where's the
That
paint?
poor fella's tried everything to get rid of them weeds. And you know what he finally sprayed them with?
Paint.
Yeah, paint. Kate, ain't you interested in Amos' problem?
All I am interested in is the paint. Where is it?
That's Sam Drucker. What a way to run a store. I figure we needed 5 cans. He's only got 3.
Well, why didn't you bring the 3? And while you were painting, you could order the rest of the batch.
Suppose your first batch don't match your second batch, then you've got an unmatched batched up hotel.
I'll get the paint myself. Can I have the $10?
Now, Kate, you're too soft-hearted. Sam would take advantage of you. You let me go in. I'll work on him. Yeah, I've made arrangements to bring out some hardware for you to make a selection. You know, new doorknobs, hinges, faucets.
That's marvelous. I never expected such fast service.
Well, in contracting circles, I'm known as Fireball Carson. They tell a story on me. Once I put up a house so fast the termites were still in their pajamas. It's a little item I overlooked in our agreement. The contractee is supposed to give the contractor some evidence of good faith.
I'm afraid I don't understand.
Well, you see, my company's geared to provide a custom-built job from the original estimate to the final inspection. And we need lots of working capital.
Oh, I see you want an advance.
Oh, no, it ain't for me. It's them subcontractors and suppliers. See, there's a lot of labor and material involved in a big job like this.
Well, how much do you want?
$10. Shopkeeper. Oh, I ain't got much time, shopkeeper. 5 cans of Canary Yellow.
I thought I was lucky enough to be losing your trade.
It's for Kate.
Oh, by the way, I got some news for you. This is from the county clerk.
What's my contracting license?
You know, seems I've been a little out of touch with the county seat. The fee for a contractor's license is going up to $20.
$20? Oh, well, that's no problem. Tell the clerk I'll send him the other 10 out of the $400 profit for remodeling the Douglas place.
Shall I also tell the sheriff you want your cell overlooking the jute mill? Joe, you gotta have a contracting license before you can drive one nail or lay one brick.
$400. Okay, send along this other 10.
Fine. Now, let's see. You wanted 5 cans of Canary Yellow. That'll be another $10.
Put it on my tab.
You ain't got a tab. You want the paint or the license?
The license. Then hang on to the paint. I know where I can get the money. I'll need a couple more business cards. Right away.
Carson School of House Painters?
That's my sideline. In case something happens to my job at the hotel, I got my school of house painting to fall back on. What do you got?
Well, I never thought.
You never thought. What do you think would happen if the railroad would suddenly decide to put the train in mothballs?
Well,
Let's face it, Floyd. You ain't getting any younger. Time you learn to trade.
I got a trade. 3 of them. I'm a conductor, a baggage clerk, and a fireman.
Well, you look kind of silly punching tickets, smashing baggage, and stoking a boiler without being inside of a train.
Would be kind of tough.
What you need is a job with a future.
Like what?
Like house painting.
Has that got a good future?
I'll give you an example. The French Riviera is so crowded with retired house painters that the ordinary millionaires ain't got room for their yachts.
Golly, how do you get to be a house painter?
Well, it ain't easy. You gotta be an apprentice for 2 years.
And then you can paint houses?
Of course not. All an apprentice can do is hang wet paint signs on the back of park benches. Then you gotta spend a year as an intern mixing colors in a paint factory.
Then you can paint.
If you got $50 for the examination.
That lets me out. I could never be a house painter and crowd ordinary millionaires off the French Riviera.
If you take my crash course in house painting, you get your examination free.
How much is a course?
Well, seeing as you're a friend of mine, $10. Easy. Use more arms, less wrist.
Well, what do you think?
Oh, you're doing fine. You're doing fine.
Well, wouldn't I be doing better if I had some paint?
You ain't ready for paint. You amateurs is always in a toot. Granted, this may look a bit peculiar, but I can explain.
Oh, no. Who would explain your explanation? The last time we talked, Uncle Joe, you were going into town to buy 5 cans of paint. Is that correct?
Well, you see,
Just answer the question. You were going for paint, yes or no?
Yes.
And I gave you $10 to purchase said paint. Is that right?
Well, you see,
I see no paint. So, if you have spent my $10 on some fantastic, stupid, addle-pated, idiotic scheme...
Kate Bradley, your lack of faith in my integrity wounds me deeply. I accept your apology. I got my assistant warming up. Floyd begged me to let him help.
Careful, Floyd. The paint's running down your arm.
Thanks, Kate.
You heard me. I said 5 cans of canary yellow.
You got $10? By the way, Mrs. Douglas was in here asking about you.
What you want?
She's waiting for you to bring out those doorknobs and hinges you promised her. And all that other stuff.
Sam, what's the matter with you? This is canary yellow. I asked for Mediterranean blue.
You asked for canary yellow.
You got colorblind ears. You going to give a cash customer what he pays for, or do I have to trade somewhere else?
Could have sworn he said Kate wanted canary yellow.
Well, Kate, here's your canary yellow. Why, that's Sam Drucker. He gave me the wrong color. Mediterranean blue. I'll have to take it right back.
No, wait a minute. I like it.
No, you don't. You like canary yellow. I'll take it right back.
But don't bother. I changed my mind.
Change it, you've lost it. The reflections from that paint would make the guests look like they had frostbite. They'd check out like flies.
She's like, after all, the girls and I did like canary yellow.
Hey, Joe, I want to ask you something.
Yeah?
Does this crash course include...
You're violating rule number 1. Nobody likes a gabby house painter.
Hey, Joe. How long you gonna hold on to Floyd with that silly paint course?
I ain't got no time for your stupid conversation.
It ain't stupid. It's tough enough being the engineer without doing Floyd's job on top of it. I want him back.
That's just like you, Charlie Pratt. The minute a man gets a chance to advance himself, you hang on to his apron strings.
Well, Carson, you better watch your step.
You don't scare me none. Anytime. Color. This is Mediterranean blue.
That's what you asked for. Now I suppose you want to go back to canary yellow.
No. Just give me my $10 refund and I'll put this stuff back on the shelf.
Keep your hands off the stop and get out from behind my counter. Three cans, $6. No refund for the 2 empties.
You know, 2 of them cans did seem kind of light. That paint must have shrunk in transit. Well, look, I ain't got no time for chit-chat. I gotta get that hardware out the Douglas place. Let me have an assortment of doorknobs, locks, latches, light fixtures, faucets.
You got a contractor's license.
You know I ain't.
No credit except to licensed contractors.
Look, if I don't bring that stuff out there, the Douglas will think I'm a small-time operator.
Which you are.
If you don't let me have the hardware, how can I carry out my contract with the Douglases?
Well, I don't know, but a man who takes $10 from Kate to buy canary yellow and switches to Mediterranean blue and talks Floyd into a Carson house painting and tries to palm off 2 empty cans, he'll think of something.
How's this look, Betty?
What are you doing, Floyd?
Well, I finished painting on the outside, so I thought I'd do the lobby.
Mom! Mom!
Not now, Betty Jo. Did you see anybody run out of here with a doorknob, a chandelier, and a bathtub?
What's the matter with you folks? Are you all crazy?
Where's Uncle Joe?
I don't know. He mumbled something about going over to the Douglas's farm.
Douglas farm.
But how did you ever get involved with him in the first place?
Well, he said he was a contractor, and he didn't want me to be buried under derbies, and he brought over all those samples, like that doorknob over there.
That's my doorknob. And that's my wallpaper. That's my chandelier. And
I know, that's your tub. Don't worry, Mrs. Bradley. I'll see that all your property is returned. Lisa, how could you possibly have made such a deal with Mr. Carson?
But he made such good sense.
Uncle Joe made good sense?
Yes, he agreed with everything I said.
This whole mix-up could have been avoided if you'd have just asked him to show you a sample of his work.
Sample of his work. That's a very interesting idea. Excuse me.
Uncle Joe, you finished that whole wall and it's nearly noon.
Yeah.
Take a rest, Uncle Joe. We brought you some lunch.
I ain't got time. Feed it to me.
But you gotta stop and eat your lunch.
Don't interfere. As soon as I finish painting the outside, I got to wallpaper the lobby, varnish the woodwork, so I can show Mr. Douglas a sample of my contract in the building.
You better get out of the way, Betty Jo, or the Hooterville Hawks are gonna have a canary yellow shortstop.
That Mrs. Douglas is a real doll. They're both so nice that after you've been around them for a while, you'll forget they're from the city.
Well, city folks and country folks are pretty much alike. The only difference is that city folks' springs are wound a little tighter.
Mom, you're still out $4 for the 2 cans of paint Uncle Joe spilled.
Well, I figure that I'm way ahead. Where else could you get a big-time contractor like Uncle Joe for $4?
Well, Mrs. Douglas is still on her $10 that she gave Uncle Joe as a retainer.
They don't feel that way. Mr. Douglas says it's worth $10 to get out of the contract.
Then the only one who's really out is Floyd. Well, he isn't getting anything for his $10.
Oh, yes, he is.
Get that pressure up. We're coming to Bleeker's Hill. Stoke that boiler. You heard it. Keep shoveling in that wood.
Yeah, I heard him.
This has been a Filmways presentation.